But we're going to be interviewing Simon Beach, a pop/rock and folk artist, I should say, from Kemptville, Ontario, currently in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, if I'm not mistaken. Just released his newest CD, which we'll talk about later on in the broadcast. And what a great artist, actually, and interesting guy. So we'll be talking about that. He's been doing some shows up in the Yukon, and yes, and very interesting stuff. And his newest album is called Morning West Shadow. You can purchase it live on iTunes, and you can also buy it, I believe. And yeah, there's a way to do that, and it's $10, and it's for a good cause. You're buying it to help support Canadian talent, which is always positive if you're Canadian, and if not, you can purchase it anyway if you really like it, and you can hear it. So we're going to be doing a Skype interview very momentarily with Simon Beach, and we'll be calling him. So please give us a moment as we set this up on the line. But for the time being, what did you think of 90s Night? Yes, we'd like to do it again sometime. So we'll be on the phone momentarily with Simon Beach. So just give us 1 sec.
Hello?
Hey, Simon Beach, it's Nicholas Pescod from Radio Nation. How you doing?
Hey, Nick. Not too bad. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for joining us live on air. And so far, so good. Skype is working because usually it doesn't work.
All right. Awesome.
Perfect, my friend. So let's get this interview started. And I guess I did a good introduction, excuse me, of who you are and what you've been up to. And so I guess let's start off the interview by saying, by telling the folks out there, sort of who are you in your own words, and what kind of music you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
All right. Sorry, I've got a guitar in hand at the moment.
That's all good.
I've been playing solo music. I suppose just writing as a solo singer-songwriter for about the last two and a half years now, and I kind of just fell into it because I kept writing songs after a number of bands and stuff kind of went their way out. It's kind of along the lines of like a folk pop rock type of mix. Got influences from Ryan Adams, not to be mistaken with Canada's Summer of '69 Bryan Adams, a gentleman from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and groups like Bright Eyes, other artists like Damien Rice and Finn Reagan, and I've been I was living in Montreal in the new year, which was just following the last couple of months where I had recorded my first album last September, and I'd gotten a backup band together there with some friends from high school, and played a few shows, did a CD release show at the Branch restaurant in Kemptville in April, and then since then I moved up to Yellowknife for the summer, and I've been playing around town here, doing my best to kind of get my name out, and hopefully with the future of returning next year to try to get some festival spots. So at the moment, just kind of keeping the ball rolling on the whole thing.
That's pretty exciting stuff, actually. When we'll talk about your time in Yellowknife, but I want to talk a bit about the CD that you have, Morning West Shadow, which was recorded between September and December, which is in your parents' basement, is it, or your spare bedroom, according to the article here?
I was kind of living and working in Ottawa at the time, leading up to it, and wasn't really doing not exactly what I wanted to do. I don't know, there's just this huge kind of like looming project I'd wanted to get started for a while, just to go through the process of recording an album and doing the whole stubborn thing, kind of trial and error. Like I'd had some projects in the past, but never really got to the point where I went ahead and got something fully recorded, mixed, produced, and pressed and out there. So I really wanted to get that experience kind of over and done with. And because I'd been writing so much solo material, I figured I'd just go ahead and start up an album. So my folks were, I was really fortunate. They kind of just asked me if I wanted to do a very small victory lap of the household, and so I kind of got myself bunked up in the spare bedroom upstairs, and just kind of made it like a home studio, borrowed some equipment from some friends, and snagged a bit of software, and yeah, just kind of did the best I could with what I had. So it was a really good experience, though. Definitely, kind of let me know what I was capable of, and a good stepping stone for future projects.
Now, I just want to clarify. Sorry, I just want to clarify the house that you did this recording in isn't the house that was referred to as the loss of home in this album.
No, actually, it's not. That the yeah, Morning West Shadow is kind of I guess some of the songs kind of stem from the family home that I moved out of probably at the end of high school when I was about 18, 19, and that was my family home on Kennedy Road, about 5 minutes outside Kemptville. And it was interesting because I kind of lived in that place, in that house my whole life, so it was a bit of a I don't know, kind of just moving on experience, I suppose, as far as just changing with leaving stuff behind and kind of trying to get your own grasp on where you are in life once you lose things like a home. Because I mean, as much as it is a place, like it's kind of also just a capsule for an era or like time of your own life. So it's kind of interesting to, I guess, through songs, sometimes you just encompass different points in your life, and it's nice to kind of, with an album, it can come across as being kind of conceptual that way, because then you can take that time in your life and, you know, go through with it with writing and recording and kind of leave it behind and move on to something else. I think records kind of work that way. So yeah, so that one, the first record basically is kind of an homage to my old roots.
Let's talk a bit about your past, sort of. I mean, we kind of touched on that with the part where you lose your, moving out of the house, and that clearly is obviously a big part of your life, living just outside of Kemptville. Let's talk a little bit about you growing up. You mentioned a lot of stuff about listening to music and stealing your sister's CDs and collections. How big of what influences besides the ones that you mentioned sort of really stood out, whether it's musically or some friends or family, really influenced you to sort of within this album?
I guess, I mean, really, music's just been like a huge part of my family my whole life growing up. My mom taught sort of, I guess it's called she did music lessons for young toddlers. It was a program, I guess, her and some other teachers were a part of, called Listen, Like, Learn. And I just kind of got all the kids growing up on music and learning basic rhythm and melodies and stuff like that at an early age. My mom and dad got us into piano lessons and stuff at like 5, 6 or whatever, and just kind of, music was always kind of incorporated in whatever we did. Played in like the church band and stuff when I was a young kid. I don't know. It always seemed to be a good source of community and kind of just like family building. Like we really enjoyed those times. So growing up, music was always a part of my life, and as a kid, I kind of, once I stopped playing piano or whatever, got into guitar. Eventually started listening to punk rock. Somehow. No, my brother was into a lot of older, grungier bands and stuff. So growing up, hitting the good old teen angst years, started off in punk bands, and it was always kind of, I don't know, it was always kind of writing in sort of pop formalities, because as a kid I used to listen to my dad's Beatles records, and I still steal CDs from my brothers and sisters, like Weezer's Blue album and Pinkerton and all those great kind of pop bands. So after a while, I kind of went from band to band to band, played through some punk rock bands, was in some hardcore bands, and somehow, in a weird twist of fate, found my way over to sort of folk type rock or like alt country, and I don't know, just kind of went from there. I definitely just look at all the all the pop music that I used to listen to. And I mean, like, you know, not contemporary, but I guess, yeah, like your Beatles, your Beach Boys, like things that my parents used to listen to. Kind of grew up on that as well. And then it's all basically incorporated now, just in a different kind of format.
What would you say then has been the biggest challenge so far in your career? I mean, you've got obviously a bright future ahead of you, and you've had an interesting past. What has been the biggest challenge for you as an artist?
I'd say just, I guess, kind of staying focused on continuing to produce music honestly and with not necessarily just a goal in mind, but in order to kind of produce it in an honest fashion and work towards something that it's constantly self-challenging. So embarking on new projects and collaborating, it's hard to organize different things like that. But once you do, I guess really it's just a matter of being able to follow through with all the projects that you do start. So, like, say for example, I mean, I recorded the album last September, and for the last year and a bit, just been trying to promote it as much as I can, and it's kind of just getting over little challenges like that and building upon your experiences as you learn them. Because recording the first album by myself, it was really good to realize what I was capable of doing, and now, I mean, a part of the challenge is to figure out a way to constantly better the quality of my music and my creative output too. Whether or not that means co-writing and stuff in the future, and looking for different ways of musical expression. But I'd say it's a constant challenge to create your art and follow through with it, and get people to notice what you're doing. I mean, 'cause if it's something that you love, then I mean, you're gonna want to try to make it your work.
Yeah,
and
totally.
and you know, try to succeed.
What has it been like as an experience? I mean, you're from Kemptville, so I guess moving to Yellowknife really is a change, but it's not going from, say, you know, when you move from Kemptville to Montreal, or in an area where you're going from a small town to a big city. I mean, for myself, I used to live in Kemptville too, so, you know, going to Oakville, kind of big suburban change difference. But for you, what was the experience? What's your experience been like being in Yellowknife? It's even smaller than Kemptville and a lot less people. So, talk to me a bit about that experience.
Actually, I'd say Yellowknife, in a way, it's kind of it's a bit similar to Kemptville. It's the population here is probably about 20,000, but it's been amazing, really. It's Montreal's an amazing city, but it can be quite hectic at times. And coming from like, you know, like a rural background, wide open space and just the strong presence of nature has always been something really comforting to me. So moving up to Yellowknife was kind of in the past 4 months that I've been here. It's really kind of become a second kind of home to me. The music community up here is amazing. Everyone is ridiculously friendly and helpful, and you can just it's such a I've just been really fortunate up here. Within like the first couple of days of being here, I went out to a couple of jam nights and snagged a couple of gigs right off the spot. People were really supportive and helping me spread my music around, and giving me the outlets for being able to play my stuff live and kind of make some ripples in the water in the music scene up here. So I got to even just through meeting contacts and musicians and stuff, I got to try out for the Folk on the Rocks festival. There was an event called Rock the Folks, which took place on the Thursday before, and Folk on the Rocks is actually like one of the I think it's like the top rated festivals in Canada. This year it featured artists like Owen Pallett, who used to be Final Fantasy, and gentleman did like all the string arrangements for Arcade Fire's like first 2 albums, and other artists like Luke Doucette and the White Falcon, and So I had the opportunity to kind of play like a Battle of the Bands style event set up before the festival, which was a great opportunity. It's such a freeing atmosphere up here too. I've been up here working and stuff too, but when you really get time to explore the the environment around you, the geography is out of this world. So it's almost just like a really really peaceful place, a strong tight knit community, a really positive experience being up here for the summer. I've been writing a lot too, so bouncing ideas off of new musicians is some of the best way to help your creative flow. So it's been it's been a great experience.
Talk to me a bit about your time. I mean, obviously, you put Kemptville. You're pretty passionate about being from there, and tell me a little bit about how you put that in your music. 'Cause, I mean, there's obviously a couple songs, but I mean, how do you sort of interpret your own experiences or write your own experiences from being from Kemptville, from growing up in such a small rural community, and how do you sort of write that in your music?
I think it kind of comes naturally sometimes. If like for me, I write from I write from I write what I know, I guess, which is just personal experience, and I think where you come from and where you grow up can always be embedded in what you do in some form or another. For me, I think generally, especially my first album, Morning West Shadow, just being about like a number of songs, just being about the area or like the environment around where I grew up. It kind of just has that kind of vibe to it. I don't know if people will be able to specifically place it to an area, but I think there's still some kind of identity there. Whether it's I've never done any songs where I specifically call out street names or anything like that. Not yet. I think I'll get to that one. That always seemed like a pretty fun kind of country way to go about writing tunes, incorporating towns and villages and stuff. I think generally it's just a feel for where I come from, and I think it just has a strong presence in how I write, because generally, I mean, when you try to sort things out, music is the perfect kind of cathartic experience for being able to organize things and put your thoughts down on paper, and sometimes, for the most part, ideas and creations stem from your roots. So I think no matter where I go, Kemptville home. It's always going to be home, and I always look forward to going back there and playing shows and seeing people as well. So.
When was the last time you were back in Kemptville?
I think it was the CD release show in April at the Branch restaurant. And again, like the Branch is a perfect example. Bruce and Nicole, the owners, they're like a family there. I used to work back there in the day when I was a kid, and again, like amazing people. And it's so interesting how much music can play a part in so many different people's lives, and how if you're just in one place, whether or not it's work or just a community environment, you can share music, share ideas, and and really influence people. Like I'm pretty sure there's a number of bands that I listen to. The owner of the Branch, Bruce, when I was working there as a kid, had just like we'd always chat about music, and he'd just like give me bands to listen to, and I just like write them down in lists. And sure enough, they've like helped in a way like influenced the music that I create now. So it's kind of nice to bring that back home. I have some plans to play a show there in the fall. I've got to work things out, but it's always great heading back there because I used to host the open mics and stuff on Sundays back in the day, and being there for the CD release show in April, couldn't have asked for a better place to do it.
Now I gotta ask you because I'm from Kemptville and I was back. I don't go back as much because I live 6 hours away now. But does it feel weird that there's a Walmart in Kemptville now?
Does it feel weird there's a Walmart?
Yeah. Does that feel weird? Like it doesn't. When I went in there, it
That's
didn't feel
so
right.
weird. Actually, yeah, oh, that's something else. I don't know, like, when I look at Kemptville, I find it strange. I mean, there's part of the town that I love, and I mean, but then there's little encroaching, uh, aspects of this kind of almost like suburban lifestyle
Yeah.
that's so new to me. And like when I come back now, I see all this new development and stuff too, and it blows my mind because even when I was growing up, like we still had my road wasn't paved. Like it was, I mean, like we
Dirt.
gravel
Yeah.
roads. Like there's like maybe like 2,500 people. I don't think the townships amalgamated into North Grenville until I was about like 8 or 9. So even that, I mean, like things are kind of spread out a bit more independent. Like the communities themselves, I mean, they were still like very tight knit, but there's little individual identities, and yeah, when you see something like Walmart, like a big box store coming, and it's not just Walmart. I mean, you've got they tore down like 80 acres of forest
Yeah.
to go ahead and build it, and when really like the nearest Walmart's like a 5-minute drive away in Barrhaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That's totally a different topic, but it's a weird feeling. I don't know if it if it really strikes me as actually, you know what, in a way too, I guess that kind of things like that kind of play into the same topic, the same feeling of home, and not necessarily just losing a home, but when your home kind of changes and shifts like that and trying to readjust to it, those are all things that kind of stem up in music too. And in a way, actually, just being able to kind of like capture feelings or experiences of your home as a place in the past, whether or not it's like a near past or whatever. It's something that, yeah, that constantly grows in music because then you're always confronted with change. And I don't know, I guess in a nutshell, Walmart's maybe not the change I would like for Kemptville.
I have to
But
agree, but that's just me too.
it's,
It does. It
but like I
feels
said,
weird.
that's a different that's a different discussion. We could get into a
Yeah.
whole other political debate about the suburbanization of rural community towns in
Yeah.
Ontario.
My final
But
question there for you, my friend, is we're tight on time here. My final question for you is how has social media helped you in your career? And
oh man, awesome. Yeah, I don't know why for a long time. Well, like I said, I was in punk bands, right? So had some anarchic values in the past. Some that I've smoothed out quite a lot in recent years. But I was a bit iffy about the whole Facebook thing for a while. But I kind of made it a funny like New Year's resolution after I'd recorded the album, and I had released it in December actually of last year. Yeah, my New Year's resolution was to just hop on whatever social media outlet I could find because it really is. I mean, these are tools that people have for individuals, and as an independent musician, you have to be able to be familiar with and turn all these tools in a positive way, and help them work for you. Like yeah, I mean, Facebook it's a great forum for an online community, and there's lots of amazing stuff that people share. Being able to just get your name out there and network, yeah, I mean, the possibility and the opportunities are right there at your fingertips. So I think it's important for anyone who wants to go out there and try to make a name for themselves as an independent musician. Yeah, man, use the tools that you have around you. Social networking is, I don't know, man, that's where we are at the times, and yeah, you gotta get with it and use it in a positive way because you've got great benefits for it. So.
now, are you using Twitter? Do you use Twitter at all?
Twitter is one that I haven't gotten into yet, but I find it really interesting.
It is
I
very
don't.
interesting.
I know. Again, though, it's like whether or not people use it to their best advantage. I mean, some people like to tweet every half hour as
Mhm.
to like what they ate for breakfast,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're debating on eating for lunch, and then they'll write down the next 10 tweets are them changing their mind about where they're going to go for lunch. But but then again, you also have people who sometimes I truly enjoy the social networking sites for just kind of the people who are really engaged in world events, or like will be able to tweet or just like Facebook about recent news articles or stories that have like just come up, and to spread the word. It's amazing how fast information can spread just using those sites. So I think I'll probably start tweeting soon.
You should do
It's
it.
one of those things that I don't know. I think it's definitely good for bands who are on the road, and touring is something that I love to do in the near future. So before I hit the road, I think I'll have to start tweeting and all that.
Well, we use it here on the show, and it's actually like I was the same way as you. I never believed in it until I did an internship, and I saw how effective it is. And even if you're not on the road, like we did it for the show, and we get like 300 followers now, and we've been using it for a month.
Yeah, like
You just got to tweet random stuff, and it's good.
Yeah.
So get on it, and we promote all our artists. So if you get on it, man, we'll promote you big time because we do a lot. That's how we promote a lot of people.
That's an incentive, so for sure. Thank you so much.
There you go. All right, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on the show. There you go. That was Simon Beach from Kemptville, Ontario. Thanks again, Simon, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
All right, take care.
Cheers.